Home rhythm games have been having a bit of a resurgence lately, with freeware home rhythm games like Clone Hero and Eterna making strides and having huge updates, and games like DJ Max Respect V giving us more of a traditional home rhythm game experience for the first time in a while. There's certainly a slow rise of rhythm games creeping up. Even new and original titles like Spin Rhythm give us a taste of what's possible in the current rhythm gaming market. But one home rhythm game franchise has been around for over a decade now, quietly chugging along, pumping out releases for the PSP, PS3, PS4, and now the Switch. That's right, it's Project Diva. Project Diva is the rhythm game where you play along to your favorite Vocaloid songs alongside your favorite Vocaloid characters. If you don't know, Vocaloid is a voice synthesizer software allowing for the creation of music using samples from a vocal bank. Characters with certain voices were created for the software and became the sort of mascots for Vocaloid. Jump ahead a few years and Hatsune Miku is an icon in her own right, marketed as a virtual idol performing for her fans. The Hatsune Miku brand has covered many different aspects of merchandise and media, and what better for her entry into video games than a rhythm game? The Project Diva series started on the PSP in 2009, eventually becoming an arcade game, getting some PS3 and PS4 exclusive versions in the form of Project Diva F, and finally arriving in the past few years with home ports of Project Diva Future Tone, the current arcade version of Project Diva. It's become a fairly popular rhythm game franchise, with the gameplay characterized by an assault of input commands laid over the top of a Vocaloid music video, with the games usually allowing the player to choose what costumes the Vocaloids wear. It's a fun and colorful rhythm game with a lot of personality that can still be brutal at the higher levels, so it has a wide appeal in terms of rhythm gaming. As of the 15th of May 2020, a new home version of Project Diva was released in the form of Project Diva Mega Mix. This version released exclusively for the Nintendo Switch and is the first time the mainline Project Diva series has ever appeared on a Nintendo console. The Project Mirai spin-off series did appear on the 3DS, but the mainline Project Diva series has never even appeared on a non-Sony console until now. This is made evident by the fact that the PlayStation face buttons are so associated with the gameplay of Project Diva that they're still in the Switch release. Studious Project Diva fans will likely have noticed, however, that Project Diva Mega Mix is very similar to the release of Project Diva Future Tone. Future Tone is the name of the current arcade version and is also the name of the home port for the PS4. The aim of Future Tone was to port most, if not all, of the arcade content to a home console. This came out in 2017, with the two main song packs making the full song list cost about $55 if you bought both at the same time. That pack is now down to $40 now, so is it even worth buying this Switch release if many of the songs are the same? Well, we're going to take a look and compare the two versions to see which one you should probably buy. Let's start with the biggest part of the rhythm game, the song list. For reference, I'm going to be comparing what I'd consider the base game song lists. Each game has some DLC, but not everyone buys DLC, and I think considering what a game has out of the box is important. Megamix has 101 songs, and Future Tone has 227 songs, taking into consideration the two packs that make up the main release. So right off the bat, Megamix has less than half the songs Future Tone does. In terms of song lists, if the number of songs and amount of content is your main concern and you have a PS4 and a Switch, it is no contest between the two and you should definitely go with Future Tone. However, one thing to note is that some people will likely want to buy Megamix for the sake of having Project Diva on a mobile system. I totally agree with this, and in this case I would say it would be a good call if that's what you're going for. One reason that could be a hard sell for existing players of Future Tone, however, is not only the lesser amount of songs, but also the large amount of overlap between the song lists of Megamix and Future Tone. I counted, there are only 23 new songs in Megamix if you only had the base packs for Future Tone, and if you did have the Future Tone DLC, there are only 10 songs that seem to have not been in that game at all. It's a pitiful amount of new content for existing players, almost certainly not worth the $40 price tag. Now, I want to clarify, I don't think that the overlap is necessarily a bad thing. After all, it's Project Diva Mega Mix. It's in the title. It's a compilation game consisting mostly of popular songs from the arcade version, and I think looking at it that way, it does its job very well. I just wanted to point it out for existing players, maybe looking for new content, that this probably won't be worth the price tag if that's what they're after. In terms of the actual game itself, due to the hardware differences between the PS4 and the Switch, the visuals are a bit downgraded in Megamix. It's nothing too jarring, the music videos definitely still look nice, and the gameplay itself is unaffected, but sometimes lower quality models and lower frame rate videos can be jarring if you spend a lot of time with Future Tone. So I've spent the last few minutes telling you why you probably shouldn't buy Megamix if you've bought or played Future Tone. There are, however, a few exclusive modes and other things that shouldn't go unmentioned that may make you interested in buying this Switch release over the PS4 one. For example, there's some new gameplay modes. The notable one is Mix Mode, which was advertised heavily when the game was being marketed. It's a motion control gameplay mode requiring you to tilt the Joy-Cons left and right and press the shoulder buttons in time with the notes when your indicator is lined up. It can be sort of fun, and all the songs have charts for this mode, so it gives you a ton of content to go through, but I find the motion controls can be a bit unresponsive, and I found the tendons near my thumbs getting really tired and sore after trying a few of the harder charts. It's not the worst mode, but it's something I don't personally think is worth spending a lot of time on, especially if you're after the traditional Project Diva gameplay. But what is worth checking out, in my opinion, is the new Touch Mode. I don't know if it was me being stupid, but I had no idea this was in the game, and it makes no effort to tell you that it's there. I don't even remember seeing it advertised at all. It's buried at the very bottom of the controls menu. This enables an on-screen button layout for the game that you can play on the Nintendo Switch touchscreen. It's laid out like the arcade control scheme with the 4 buttons going across the bottom. This is great because it's a good way to get a feel for these charts since they're from the arcade game. The charts are actually meant for this kind of control scheme. And even if it can be a little tricky to get used to in terms of timing, the touchscreen is really responsive and nice, and the charts flow a lot better with this control scheme in my opinion. I had a ton of fun playing it this way. In my opinion, this should have been the massively advertised mode, not Mix Mode. This gives you a way to have a somewhat arcade-style experience at home or even on the go, and is a fantastic addition to the Switch release. So, let's get to the bottom line. Under what circumstances should you buy Megamix? If you haven't already bought Future Tone and would prefer to play on the Switch, it's still a good purchase. 101 songs for $40 is still a good deal, and there's a lot to play here. Obviously, if you don't have a PS4 at all, then this is definitely the version for you as well. If you're really craving some new modes or ways to play Project Diva, it could be a good purchase as well. Aside from the benefits of having mainline Project Diva on a portable console, having some new ways to play with Mix and Touch Mode are definitely interesting and maybe worth checking out. In my opinion, most hardcore players probably won't get a kick out of Mix Mode, but I think Touch Mode alone makes this port super interesting, with a completely new way for home players to experience the arcade charts. If you're really desperate for new content, you could do it. The 10 new songs are certainly good, but $40 for 10 songs is a bit steep in my opinion, especially since if you're looking that hard for new songs, you probably already had those 13 other DLC songs in Future Tone. You're probably better off just sticking with Future Tone here. And of course, even if you own Future Tone, if you want mobile Project Diva, certainly go for it. The engine feels as good as Future Tone did, and having it on the go is a great addition to any Switch library, especially since the Switch doesn't have that many high-profile rhythm games yet. Overall, I certainly don't think Project Diva Mega Mix is bad. In fact, I think in terms of rhythm games, it's actually a pretty good deal. 100 songs for $40 is definitely a lot of content, and it's a good amalgamation of the best of Project Diva, put onto a new console for more people to enjoy. Obviously, it would be nice to have more content for the existing fanbase, but with the franchise being exclusive to PlayStation consoles for so long, it's a good game to get some more people into Project Diva. I hope that going forward, the mainline Project Diva releases will just release on both PlayStation and Nintendo, as both consoles have benefits that the other console may not be able to take advantage of. The fantastic visuals available on the PS4 right now are a treat, especially with things like photo mode, but the uniqueness of the Switch provides gameplay opportunities not available elsewhere with touch and motion controls. Adding the Switch to the Project Diva ecosystem opens up a lot of future possibilities, and I think it'll be exciting to see where the series can go from here. Thanks for watching. Check out my Twitter and my Twitch. Links are in the description below. You can also check out my Patreon if you want to support my content. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.